All right, so Monarch knocking off Cherry Creek to punch their ticket to yet another state championship game. What does it all mean? Well, to figure that out, we bring in Marty Cesario. He was behind the mic for those final four games and will be behind the mic coming up on Monday night for the state championship game between Regis and Monarch, a repeat of last year's title match. All right, Marty, thanks for joining us. Let's talk about that Monarch Cherry Creek game. And that's a Cherry Creek Bruin team that won it a couple years ago, was playing good hockey, but it's a Monarch team that got off to such a good start.
Yeah, you've watched hockey. Monarch jumped on them. I mean, they scored 3 goals in the first period. They looked outstanding. Weren't sure in the Frozen Four setting what the young Monarch team this year was going to do. Well, they just performed so well to, again, to score those early 3 goals where they were outstanding. Brody Wiener was outstanding. You had Franny Churches, who recorded 3 points in the first period. And then from there, one of the traits of the team now, Logan Gorbitz, the goaltender, Jimmy Dexter for Monarch has good goaltending. It's a program that's always been known for, being flashy and scoring a lot of goals. I mean, that kid's good in net, and you have to have hot goalies during this time of year, right? And Gorbitz is definitely hot.
Yeah, you brought up Franny Churches. Great name, by the way.
Yes.
How about the name of the Monarch Coyote that scored the final goal?
Yeah, we were waiting on that. And it's funny, we were talking about it and tweeting it. I actually did. It took me 4 sources to get that right. And then the joke was, if we're going to work this hard, I mean, he's got to play well, right?
Yeah.
Make a play 89, and eventually there he is for that empty netter. And Oliver Diasabeguna Wardana. It's funny, I'm looking down and the public address, they're smiling the whole time because they knew they had to call it out too. Yeah, it's Portuguese and Sinhalese from Sri Lanka, and so Ali got it done.
All right, so Monarch on to the state championship game. They will face Regis, and Regis was taking on a Resurrection Christian team that has really started to come up the ranks in the sport of high school ice hockey. They brought in a 16-game win streak. Thought maybe they might be able to match with Regis, but in the end, Raiders just too tough.
Right. Resurrection Christian, good skaters. Defensively, I think they were up to the task. But, boy, you could tell Coach Dan Woodley and Cade Alcock, the top defenseman, the All-Stater, is going to play, at the next levels. They suppress that Res team in the defensive zone to where the opponents could not do anything. And from there, they got a couple of goals and were able to advance on to the championship game once again as the defending champions.
Yep, again, Regis so tough and trying to repeat there. All right, so that sets up an intriguing matchup. You have Regis taking on Monarch, rematch of last year's state championship game. And of course, last year, Monarch was the overwhelming favorite, Marty, to take down the title. They were undefeated coming into that state championship game against Regis, a team they had beaten earlier in the season. They got the first goal about 20 seconds into the game last year. Then Monarch gives up 6 straight. They lose to Regis. This year, the story is kind of tilted. It's juxtaposed. Now Regis is the team with the target on their back. And it's a Monarch team, Marty. What's their psychology going in? What's their mindset going in? Because they certainly come into this one, unlike last year, as the underdog.
Yeah, and that's part of the story here that applies. Last year, it was Mohai Puck that had all the seniors, the upperclassmen, even Coach Dan Woodley and Regis saying they're going to win it. I mean, it's a lock. Well, it didn't happen. And we see this in sports a lot. It's the following year when the team has nothing to lose that they're more dangerous. And make no mistake, Monarch is a great hockey program, one of the elites, but they've got a bunch of young guys. Coach Dexter said at the start of the year we would have turtled against any of the elites, but they grew, put things together, added the goaltending, and now they're a really dangerous hockey club. And I'll tell you, they've got one senior in Brendan Van Hout who's extremely skilled, and a bunch of young guys running around who are fierce without any care whatsoever, and then strong defensemen like Yuta Young, and then I mentioned the goaltending. They have a shot to beat Regis.
Yeah, and of course they beat Regis just a couple of weeks ago in the regular season. Only loss of the year for those Raiders. Should be a lot of fun. Coming up Monday night, Magnus Arena at the University of Denver, 7:30 the start time. Marty Cesario has the call. All right, don't go anywhere. We'll be back with you to talk a little hoops later on in the program, but first, a timeout. We'll get you back to the hardwood when we continue along here tonight on the Xfinity Sports Report.